They got him out of England. Shouldn't I get him back?
That's quite impossible.
You will be placed in a concentration camp until your father comes to his senses.
Beaumash is not the man to be bullied into cooperation, sir. I knew Fräulein Beaumash in Prague. She has a great influence with her father and is the one person who can make him change his mind.
Hello, Rob here, and welcome to R&B Reviews. Today, on the First View segment, I'm going to be looking at a movie I didn't even know existed, and I usually, know a lot about these old classic movies from like the 30s, 40s, and what have you, but this one I actually hadn't heard of until fairly recently. The movie that I'm going to be reviewing today is Night Train to Munich. It is a suspense thriller that came out in 1940, and I first became aware of this movie when another YouTube channel called A Movie at Bedtime reviewed it, and I was curious about seeing it, and when I actually got a copy of the movie from my local library, I was really excited. The movie has a lot of backstory to it. The movie was written by the writing team of Sidney Gilead and Frank Launder, who wrote a more famous movie called The Lady Vanishes that was directed by Alfred Hitchcock. This movie, Night Train to Munich, was actually directed by Carol Reed, and from what I read, when the movie Lady Vanishes came out in 1938, a lot of movie reviewers were calling it a Hitchcock picture, and Gilead and Launders were kind of frustrated by the lack of recognition that they received, and later on they formed a writing-directing partnership where they made their own movies in Britain in the 1940s. Now, with this particular movie, I rented the DVD from the library, and it's from the Criteria collection, so I was reading the booklet that came with it before I saw the movie. It was talking about how this was a lost film that nobody seemed to talk about, and how it was very successful at the box office, and basically I was really, really looking forward and excited to see this movie, and I gotta say, it was good, but I think from what I read, I was expecting more from it. I mean, the old saying where, try not to believe too much in the hype because you set your, the bar really high when you go see it. Night Train to Munich is a suspense thriller that takes place after the Nazis take the Sudetenland, right up until World War II. After the Germans march into Prague and what was then Czechoslovakia, an inventor named Dr. Beaumash flees to England, and his daughter Anna, played by Margaret Lockwood, escapes from arrest to join him. But the Gestapo manages to kidnap them both back to Berlin, and as the war looms, a British Secret Service agent played by Rex Harrison follows disguised as a senior German army officer. Now, like I said, I thought the movie was good but not great, but let me start with some of the pluses I liked about it. I like that the story is happening almost simultaneously as historical events are taking place. I like the beginning that uses a combination of documentary clips and actors impersonating people like Hitler to help the viewers get settled into the time period and to show what is going on up to that point. There's a scene where he's banging on the table of the map of the Sudetenland, and then there's Czechoslovakia and Prague and everything, and right up until Poland gets taken over as well. I really like some of the technical aspects of this movie. Reed is good at setting up suspenseful shots, and the script is full of clever twists and turns that I didn't see coming. For those of you that have seen the movie The Lady Vanishes, we see the return of two characters called Caldecott and Chambers. They're basically middle-aged British cricket fans, and they provided comedy relief in both of these films, and they also end up appearing in a few other ones. They end up, like Lady Vanishes, they end up getting involved in the story when things start heating up. In this movie, they're given much more to do, and like The Lady Vanishes, they end up helping the heroes out. I thought they were a nice addition, and I liked their humor that they brought, and some of my favorite bits include them where they're on the train with our heroes in Germany, and the Nazis force them to give up their train compartment, later their waiting room, and even a bench at a train station because it is needed. The acting, for the most part, I thought was adequate. Rex Harrison, I thought, was great as the confident agent, something that would show up in later on throughout his film career, and he's also good at playing different personas as his character. Margaret Lockwood, who was the lead actress in Lady Vanishes, is fine here. But unlike her and Michael Redgrave from the other film, her and Harrison, to me, just didn't really have any chemistry. And I really liked the climactic fight near the end of the film. It was very thrilling and exciting. But as a whole, the movie for me just didn't come together, and I was trying to figure out why that was. The movie is a bit episodic, and the movie does try to blend suspense, drama, and comedy, and it can be done. I've seen it done, and Hitchcock has done it, but it just wasn't as smooth here. To me, it kind of reminded me of Django Unchained when the tones just suddenly shift. Like in this movie, it's very dramatic. Like there's scenes where Margaret Lockwood is in a concentration camp, and it's all serious for maybe like the first 40 or 50 minutes, and then suddenly, when Caldecott and Chambers enter, more comedy comes in, and I feel like it just was like an odd shift. It's also, even though there's good, individual scenes, I feel like as a whole, the dramatic tension, just didn't carry on throughout the whole movie, like a story arc. It was a very well-made movie, and I understand it was a very big hit at the box office, and I read in that booklet for the DVD that it ran for 14 weeks in New York. It was a big success in the United States and England, so I'm wondering whether, because of the timeliness of it, audiences back then were able to connect to it a little bit more. It was a good movie, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was well made in a lot of aspects, but I ended up leaving the movie feeling it was just good, not as great. But I still recommend it, though. If you like war movies and if you like suspense thrillers and classic ones like Lady Vanishes and so forth, I feel like it is worth checking out in that aspect. All right, well, that's my review of Night Train to Munich. Feel free to post any comments about the movie if you've seen it. Feel free to hit the like button. If you're interested, please be a subscriber and check out all kinds of videos for all kinds of movies and shows that are out and about. Thank you very much for watching.